Hey, can you see me now? Can you see me? Just TAi. Welcome to the PSy TAi podcast. We talk about magic mushrooms, depression, and just life. Have a conversation. Let's cue this intro. Hey, welcome. I'm starting with this one. Welcome to the PSy TAi podcast with your host, Captain Naga. Or TAi, as people are starting to call me now. But whatever the case may be, make sure y'all are having a wonderful morning, evening, night, midnight special, whatever time this is coming at you. Take this energy now that we all in the same boat. We can start the conversation. Hey guys, I know y'all are happy to be seeing this much clarity. I am so happy. Came across a lot of issues, but this channel is growing and growing and growing. Just to say, I used to be in HD. We used to be, but then I lost the camera. Somebody stole it. But now I got iPad. I got hooked up to the program, and I'm gonna get this working some lag issues and stuff. I just gotta upgrade my computer. I know the deal. But thanks for tuning into the PSy TAi podcast, episode 22. We made it to 22 episodes already. When we first started off in the first one, it was just a white screen behind me. Then I tried to add like pictures that I drew. Then eventually I painted the green screen. I painted the screen green. Was working out with the webcam and stuff. Like I'm really just tracking the process right now, man. And for those who don't know, JUSt TAi stands for just think about it. It means when you combine your mind with your heart and you connect those two things and keep that circle spinning, and whatever comes out, it just comes on out. That's basically what it is. JUSt TAi, JUSt TAi, JUSt TAi. And on the PSy TAi podcast, I gotta say before we jump into any of this, because I know y'all peeped the background, we do not condone the use of illegal or legal drugs. Your body is your body. What we do on this channel is we review studies done by scientists in labs and hospitals, and also I'll give my 2 cents worth of past experiences. Your influences, I'm not influencing you and telling you to do anything at all. The censors got their little juice. Let's keep it going. I'm just happy, man, that we got here. So I think I found an article that I talked about in the early episodes, but I want to talk about it now because you know how it gets sometimes. Like, we ain't gonna go and watch the other. I don't know the Tai'ers. There's gonna be some that's out there, but I'm just go over this again because I know a lot of people ain't gonna go back and watch this. And this is very, very important information to me. Like specifically to my life. This is not just my lifestyle, but it is my lifestyle. And my part of that is helping people and displaying this information in ways that people can understand, or just start a conversation. I wanted the conversation to start because it don't matter. It does matter. It matters a ton what I do for me, what I do for my life, and how far I decide to push myself and things. But it doesn't mean a goddamn thing if I'm not going out and helping other people during this process. We're all reflections. Like, that's how I see people. I don't really use the word people. I see reflections and other souls and stuff like that. Whatever. But we all gotta come together. And if I'm not working on myself, it's helping other people. But I came through a lot of stuff though, because I used to put myself out too much for other people in the past, or put myself out there in a way that I wasn't helping myself. Just tying. That's how it is when you had conversations with the air, with the ether. All right, so I'm checking to see if it's still working. It's still all right. So let's go to this first article that I got. Let's jump right into this. It's about Michael Pollan. And Michael Pollan, he's a cool cat. He's a scientist, but I don't even know if he's a scientist, but he wrote a lot of books that made the New York Times best-selling list. So there are a lot of people that listen to his voice. I believe that everyone should share their story, if only on the stance that we are able to reach out to different sects of people, not sex like SECTS, a sex of people, because this 3D reality, and we all think we individual, and because how we all grow up. Certain people in the beginning stages, or I say in the fresh stages, they mostly listen to people that are familiar to their vibe. So if you coming up, if you this alien coming down, they go and just be like, heresy. But Michael Pollan, people listen to him. People up there listen to him, and put money and stuff. Or they have use a lot of intellect. All right, this is called. Let's get this picture for you. That's pretty cool. It's called My Adventures with the Trip Doctors, the researchers and renegades bringing psychedelic drugs into the mental health stream, by Michael Pollan. Illustrations by Christoph Niemann. Alright, and in this first part, he going over his first psilocybin journey, and he met this, I'm paraphrasing right now, but he met this person named Mary, and she changed, that's her fake name, because she actually used the nickname because the work she does, began reciting with her eyes closed a long elaborate prayer derived from various Native American terms. My eyes were closed too. Yeah, in a few hours, figures in her miraculous and he mentioned her high cheekbones because he said later this will all play into her changing into a Mexican Indian. It's funny. But this Mary character is very, I believe, I'm always switching through all this, I'm sorry. It's very instrumental to our understanding of what's going on in 2018, because a lot of stuff was going, a lot of research, if y'all check out this previous PSy TAi podcast, a lot of research was being done in the 50s and 60s. And they were coming up with all these positive, very life-changing, very family connecting changes, addiction killing changes. And this was all they were published. Well, it wasn't really published, a few published results. But in 1971, because of Richard Nixon and drug administration and everything, all this research was shut down. It was made illegal. Funding went dry because of Timothy Leary, not strictly because of Timothy Leary, but because of the movement that he was creating. And a lot of people doing these hallucinogenic plant medicines, I really push for psychotherapy, for going for therapy alongside these plant medicines. Or a friend like Mary, who has been in this game for at least like 30 years, and you can tell that she's calm and stuff. We're gonna go in this article, you see what I really mean. You gonna see what I'm talking about. But all this research was halted in 1971 because of the stigmatism that was placed on it by the FDA, by the people, because everybody comes from different lifestyles. Like when we're born, as soon as we come out the womb, we're like, where am I? Who can help me? Oh, who are you people? Where? And we figure out this world from day one. In my mind, just tying right now, just tie with me. I believe that we forgot what happened. I believe we chose to come into this virtual reality, to come into this skin. I just like using virtual reality just as a general term for this simulation, for this life body, for this essence that's here now, this 3D realm, this physical, whatever you want to call it. I believe we come in here, into this game, but we forget immediately when we're born. So we start crying. We forget how to move our arms and things. We forget, we don't really know what these eyes are. We don't know what we're looking at and stuff. It's weird. So ever since then, we all go through our own trials and tribulations as kids, and we forget even stuff when we teenagers. We forget what happened when we was 3, 5 years old. So it's like we're always beginning again. So therapy alongside these hallucinogenic plant medicines, I believe, is most beneficial. And a therapist that has had a psychedelic experience themselves, I'm not just somebody that read about it. A lot of people read about it, but what, and you can't, words don't put justice to that realm that you go to, or that realm of thought, that realm, if you take enough and transport to another place, leave out of this body, and then recognize that this, what I'm talking about, rings a lot of truth. It's a lot going on, bros and sisters. Running out of breath. Man, it's a lot going on, but yeah, in the 60s and things like this, there was a lot of loosey-goosey things. So there's a lot of ideas just floating around, people just doing things just to do them. They didn't even know they was going to have to deal with things from their past, because the main things, one of the cool things about the plant medicines, that they bring out traumas from your past. They bring you to situations, and with psilocybin mushrooms, at least, still, it's a teacher tool compared to LSD, which is like, sometimes it enables you to control the ride. Like, if you don't want to really, it's not going to really take you to those deep places immediately. But with psilocybin mushrooms, they're trying to teach you. They want to teach you. That's what they're here for. So they bring up things from your past, and you'll probably relive something that you totally forgot, that was just on the back burner of your mind. And why I say the back burner is because that thing is still burning in your soul, in your programming that is here. And if it's not ever dealt with, in my experience, like, I went back and I saw things that I forgot about, and I see how that event was replaying and cycling in my life all the way up to this present day. But since I was able, during these trips and during meditation sessions, to go back and travel and see these, I was able to, like, wow, say sorry, and, like, see what I did wrong, or see what was happening to me. And be like, all right, I forgive them, or I'm sorry for what I did, but this is how it was really going on. This is how they was feeling. This is what they was going through. This is what I was going through. I didn't really understand. And so just let it go. And I understand, just let it go. Let it go. And once I'm able to let it go, that's when in my experience, it no longer hinders me. It's like a blockage, a band-aid, a scar was healed up, and now I'm able to receive new downloads of information, of ideas, of inspiration, of life, whatever it may be you want to call it. And now I'm a lot more motivated to do more things, because I have my soul, my spirit driving me, instead of those old traumas on the back burner, just keeping things lit in the unseen. And I'm gonna get back. Let's get to this. Michael Pollan. Yeah. My first psilocybin, but this Mary character is very cool, because she came out in the 60s. She drove underground. Remember, these scientists are legit. These scientists stay legit. So what I mean by that, they ain't gonna be experimenting with drugs illegally and stuff like that, and then have the nerve to still try to publish results. That's how they would look at it. So luckily, it was some underground researchers that were still hearing the call. Still hearing the call, just like Mary, but they can't publish their results. And that's why it's very, very cool that these legit scientists are now getting grants and everything, so that we can really get on board with this. Alright. Yeah, he's talking about his setting, how he had purple fabric from Peru that covered the altar, and the collections of items arrayed across it, and a few squares of dark chocolate, the personal sacred item that Mary had asked me to bring. Yeah, I really, chocolate, cocoa, cacao nibs and stuff has, like, effects similar to MDMA when taken in the right doses and prepared a certain way. I don't know, but look at the Aztecs. The Aztecs and the Mayans, they were big on cocoa and chocolate and stuff like that. Alright. Alright, so the crowded altar also, yeah. Let's finish this story, because this is a story. and set squarely before me an antique plate holding the biggest psilocybin mushroom I have ever seen. I ever had. I had never seen this. The crowded altar also held a bunch of sage and shrub of Palo Santo, a fragment of wood that some Indians in South America burned ceremonially, and the jet black wig of a crow. At various points in the ceremony, Mary would light the sage in the Palo Santo, using the sage's wings to smudge me with smoke, guiding the spirits through the space around my head. I like how you wording it like this. Very trippy. The whole scene must sound ridiculously hokey, not to mention laced with cultural appropriation, yet the conviction Mary brought to the ceremony, together with the aromas of the burning plants and the spooky sound of the wings pulsing through the air around my head, plus my own nervousness about my journey in the store, cast a spell that allowed me to suspend my belief. Mary trained under one of the revealed elders in the psychedelic community, an 80-something psychiatrist who was one of Timothy Leary's graduate students at Harvard. But I think it was her manner, her sobriety, and her evident compassion that made me feel sufficiently comfortable to entrust her well with my mind. Oh, so she 80-something. And she really been in this game for a long time. 80-something. So it's never too late. As I say, it's never too late to. I don't know who's listening to this, but whatever age group, I do not encourage the use of illegal drugs. But it's never too late to open your mind up to new possibilities of healing, or at least do more research so that we can allow more research to be conducted in these hospitals such as Johns Hopkins and the Heffter Institute and such like that. It's wild that I still get this thing on my head and stuff, even though I'm in HD. If y'all can hold on one sec, I just want to see if I can dial it back a bit. Oh, I can still talk when I'm out. What do I mean? Alright. Alright. There we go. Hop back into the browser. This is PSy TAi Podcast, episode 22. As a child growing up, this is about Mary's life, yeah. Because Mary, she didn't think, she grew up a Catholic. She grew up a Catholic until she realized she was a girl and she was never going to be able to take place and conduct the ceremony. She would just have to take place. But with these things, plant medicines put you into a position of power. They make you realize who you are. They make you realize you are the universe, however you want to put it. You strong, you a woman, you that man, you that thing, you are it. And a lot of people grow up is in depression and we acting like we not it. We point to all these people and get other people saying, yeah, you're it. Tell me what to do. Tell me how to think. Well, how should I move? No, we tell ourselves how to move, all right? Her religiously lay dormant until college friends gave her a pot of honey infused with psilocybin for her birthday. A few spoonfuls of honey catapulted me into a huge change. She told me the first time we met. The reawakening of her spiritual life led to the path to Tibetan Buddhism. And now she wants to help all sentient beings. Yeah. Alright, now I'm talking about psychedelic therapy. Yeah, I call it a renaissance too, Michael Pollan. He's saying I call it a renaissance because much of the work represents a revival of research done in the 50s and 60s. And we was covering that in the beginning. And he's talking about how, a therapist admitted bigger so-called psychedelic doses to treat alcoholism, depression, personality disorder, and the fear and anxiety of patients with life-threatening illnesses confronting their mortality. All that changed in the 60s. Yeah. Timothy Leary. And over that. Oh, look at this cool picture. I'm a running man. Yeah. 1950s, people started doing psychedelic research, and it started with cancer. So that's what restarted this underground thing, kinda not in the mainstream at all, but just amongst little scientists here and there. Because cancer treatments, they always have a fear of dying, and then these plant medicines are the only things ever talked about forever that remove that fear of dying from many of people. So imagine they was probably like, I think, what can it do for these patients that are literally about to pass away from this realm of reality? Could it make them relax a little more and ease into it? Because a lot of people that have these psychedelic experiences, they are very similar to NDEs, near-death experiences that people report when they have a physical accident and they're clinically dead, like they have no pulse, their heart is not beating, whatever the cause is. These psychedelic experiences, what people see is similar to what people see in the near-death experiences. So I believe in the psychedelic, I'm just tying in the psychedelic experience. I believe you go a little farther, or you're able to explore a little more, bring a little more back. But it's just as life-changing. People come back from near-death experiences, hugging people, calling people they never thought they called before, starting a new path in life, starting a new career. A lot of things happen. So, alright, this is a cool trial we can read about real fast. It says, since then, several dozen studies using psychedelic compounds have been completed or are underway. In a pair of phase 2 psilocybin trials at Hopkins and NYU, 80 cancer patients, many of them terminal, received a moderately high dose of psilocybin in a guided session guided by 2 therapists. Patients described going into their body and confronting their cancer or their fear of death. Many had mystical experiences that gave them a glimpse of an afterlife or made them feel connected to nature or the universe in a way they found comfort in. The studies, which were published in the Journal of Pharmacology in December 2016, reported that 80% of the Hopkins volunteers had clinically significant reductions in standard measurements of depression and anxiety, improvements that endured for at least 6 months. 6 months. It's some cool stuff. Other studies, smaller studies of psilocybin have found that 1, 2, or 3 guided sessions can help alcoholics and smokers overcome their addictions. In the case of 15 smokers treated in the 2014 pilot study at Hopkins, 80% of the volunteers were no longer smokers 6 months after their first psilocybin psychedelic session, a figure that fell to 67% after a year, which is far better than the best treatment currently available. This is Michael Pollan words, it's not mine, but we all saying the same thing. The psychedelic experience appears to give people a radical new perspective on their own lives, making possible a shift in worldview and priorities that allows them to let go of old habits. Yet research believes it is not the molecules by themselves that can help patients change their mind. The role of the guide is crucial. People are extraordinarily suggestible. Set and setting, The guide prepares volunteers for the journey to come, sit them by them for the duration, and then, usually on a day after the session, help them integrate or make sense of the experience and put it to good use in changing their lives. The work is typically referred to as psychedelic therapy, but it would be more accurate to call it psychedelic assisted psychotherapy. Assisted. Yes, assisted psychotherapy, because the medicine, the teachers, as I say, especially psilocybin, is teaching you. During this experience, you're going to hear something like an external voice, and you can call it whatever you call it. We ain't going to dive that deep into this right now on the podcast, but I call it I just see it as an external intelligence, and it's teaching you, it's telling you stuff, it's telling you ways that you can change your life and do this and do that and see what you did wrong and things like that. But a lot of times our regular our ego, if you want to call it like that, our ego thing that's here, don't want to hear that, or it don't know how to handle that. Just because you hear a way to change and you see the way out, don't mean you're going to be able to just jump up and do it all the time. Sometimes you are. Other times you got to take a couple days to work out something that popped up. A couple weeks. Whatever time scale you on. Go to university, yeah. Yeah, the university researchers, they don't really know how to do this, so they gotta go to people like Mary and bring her up to the game, bring her to the table and be like, what are we supposed to do? How can we do this? We're gonna make sure everything's wrong. We're gonna check the blood pressures and the heartbeats and jot down so that we can think what we think, but we don't really know what the heck we doing, so we need you. Yeah, and they talking about the people, people that stayed underground. Shout outs to them. Sorry about that. School of Psychology and Social Science in San Francisco to begin their training to become legal psychedelic therapists. Oh, in late March. Is this 2018? They're saying they train people to become legal psychedelic therapists. Wow, that's awesome. To be admitted to the program, an applicant must have a professional medical or therapy license of some kind, and most of the trainees whose average age look to be about 45, and whose numbers included 9 psychologists, 9 psychiatrists, and 4 oncologists, had enrolled in this certificate program in the belief that psychedelic drugs like psilocybin and MDA administered with the proper support and guidance hold the potential to revolutionize mental health treatment. The path might not be clear or straight yet, but these people want to be ready to lead the revolution when it arrives, which may be sooner than we think. It is going to be sooner than y'all think. It's going to be sooner than y'all think. But y'all Tai'ers who are here, y'all going to be ready. So y'all going to be ready. Y'all. I'm busting. I'm reading. I'm not going to read every single thing. I'll put a link in the article. And if y'all have any articles that y'all ever want me to read, then let me know. Send them in the link. Put them in the link below. Check out the JUSt TAi Facebook. I'm going to keep switching back. Check out the JUSt TAi Facebook. Check out all of that. Actually, let me show y'all this page. Yeah, check us out on the Twitter, check us out on the Instagram, check us out on the YouTube, on Facebook. It's all JUSt TAi. Just think about it. Y'all have think about it. Drop it below. All chat together. Just having fun. She looked out over the room. Alright, because we want you to be above grant FDA approved. Yeah, we're gonna skip all of that. Yeah, so Johns Hopkins, I didn't know they've been doing this since the 90s. I thought they just started and it's all big. So I guess they just now gaining enough ground to be able to publish some material. Johns Hopkins recruited Richards because of his long experience in 1990s. Long experience guiding patients during high-dose psychedelic experience. Today's researchers work with psilocybin and MDMA because the session tends to be shorter than with LSD and because the words carry much less political baggage. Yes, wow. And so I'm not the only one that experienced that. Like during my experience on LSD, I was like, oh no, I'm on a drug. No, I wasn't. That's probably like a thought for a second, but I'm fibbing. Cause I fib. Shout outs to Cali. Shout outs to cannabis. What am I be talking about? So now I know why they don't use LSD. That's alright. All the time. Since the 1960s, I'll be reading stuff that's not even there. Since the 1960s, the LSD had been associated in the public mind with the counterculture and with stories, true or not, people jumping off buildings, thinking they could fly, blinding themselves by staring at the sun, or landing themselves in an emergency after psychotic episodes. MDMA and psilocybin are less well known and don't seem to have the same association. Also, the fact that psilocybin is natural, derived from a mushroom, seems to count in his favor. Richard has trained many guides now working in clinical trials not only at Hopkins but also at NYU and at Imperial College London. Nice. And the thing about what they say in natural, I ever think about that natural thing. It shout outs to Hamilton Morris for helping clear my mind on these thoughts. But when he said there's no such real thing as a natural plant. Like such as LSD. LSD is derived from ergot, which grows on molded rye. It comes up as like a black. It comes up. My bad. I was seeing who's there, but it comes out as like a black thing. It's black and it grows on rye. And the chemist Albert Hoffman was able to synthesize LSD from playing around with this ergot fungus. Still, but the stigmatism in the 60s, that's why this word of mouth and not really knowing what's going on and not knowing that how we all built on different configurations like a robot. We all have our own life experiences. So what's going on with somebody is not your story. That's why I'm big now. And I was shown during my meditation sessions that I gotta start speaking more. I gotta start living my own voice, saying my own voice. I read these articles, but you see how I always go in and still give my 250 cents because we go off a lot of other people's stories, and especially when they're bad stories, we latch on to other people's bad stories more than their good stories. Remember, more good than bad for the most part, like how people are programmed on this earth. And that's wild. That's our natural behavior. Well, not natural, but that's our programmed behavior. And I believe these plant medicines for me have brought me back into what I want to call my natural behavior. But I started all of this talking about natural drugs. Yeah, they're all derived from plants. They're all natural. If this reality is all here, it's all natural. But on the mind, it does play. But I believe that's mostly just because of the stigmatism placed on LSD. Like it even has initials, LSD, lysergic dimethylide acid or something like that. I don't know. Lysergic dimethylide, like it has all these names, but just psilocybin mushrooms, magic mushrooms, or it has a real big thing. And when you get into the realms of DMT, dimethyltryptamine, that's when you really start losing people. DMT, don't mention this. Shout outs to True Life Stories. Alright, let's get back. Alright. So this is just some tips they giving that Richard put out. He put out this presentation about if you're gonna be a trip sitter. So let's see what he said. Preparation sessions, they told what to expect, act to set an intention. Like, you want to quit smoking, confront your fear of death, offer a set of flight instructions for the journey ahead. That means generally advise surrender into the experience, whatever it brings and however disturbing it might be. Trust, let go, be open. Trust, let go, be open. Trust, let go, be open. Just let go, be open. Trust, let go, be open. Turn off your mind, relax, and float downstream. If you're feeling like, yeah, I don't know John Lennon Richardson, leave it in the comments if I just butchered that. If you feel as if you are dying, melting, dissolving, exploding, going crazy, etc., etc., go ahead. Richard stressed how important it is for the guy to quickly establish a rapport with volunteers so that during the sessions they can let themselves die or go crazy. That requires an awful a lot of trust because the patient's ego defenses are likely to be disabled by the drugs. It's crucial they feel safe. Yeah, I got a personal story. And it's a podcast, so I'm allowed to get personal, y'all know? I'm talking to myself. But, oh, it's raining. It's raining, guys. I'm sorry, I live in Northern California, Chico to be exact. And it has not rained for the past 4 months. Sorry, I'm a little excited. It's been not rained for the past 4 months. And I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Philadelphia, from projects. Nah, I'm just throwing the projects in there. But I'm from Philly. It rains all the time. Blizzards all the time. So the transfer from here and experience this is my second year here. So I just experienced this before, so I was ready. I even had to sleep with rain music at night. Not had to, but I've seen for the past 2 months that allows me to sleep like a baby. But it's raining now. It's raining for the past 4 months. It's not touched down anywhere. But wow, it really is fall time. Like I'm saying, everybody have their own experiences. Like people that grew up in Chico, they have very different experiences than me that grew up in Philadelphia. So when these plant medicines will bring out different experiences. That's what I'm saying, guys. Do your own research and go out and do things. Go out for your own experience, whatever the cost is. Don't live your life through somebody else. Excuse me. Very excuse. Burp fest. Trusting. Oh yeah, I had a personal story ready. Wow, something tried to get me to not tell this story. But we gonna tell it, because it is very dear. Like when he talked about the guides trust them, the guides, not gods, guides had to be trusted. The guides had to, the patients had to trust the guides with dying. Oh God, man, I shouldn't have took that hit right there. But with dying, and something personal to me is that before my deal with psychedelics, I mentioned a lot about my past and how I was real depressive. But I always believed I was on to something. I believed I was on to something, and for some reason, I was in love with death. Like I was in love with death. I did listen to metal a lot. Well, not a ton, but I know I love a lot of songs like Slipknot and some German metal songs. It's not coming to my mind right now. Children of the Bodom and a lot of other music. I don't know, but I saw something about death. But the way that I was approaching it made me depressed because I believe I wasn't equipped with a lot of the tools such as courage and things like that I have now. And this was before psychedelics. Like growing up as a teenager, I was like what people would call emo, which to me was not a bad thing because that just mean I was caught up in my emotion. But on the outside, it mean I was sad about my emotion. That is how I was looking at it. I was looking at it from a very depressed way. But how did it go? And I thought that dying was bliss. That death was bliss. And I even had 2 suicide attempts before in the past. So I have a deal with death. But overall, what that carried me as later in life, I will always say I lived as a man who died when I was 17, and that I'm somebody else walking now. And I held on to that because I was like, oh well, death is not really nothing. It's nothing to be feared. Death is what is making me stronger. Like, I don't care if I die. I really don't care if I die. But because I had still had a lot of programming in me, I'm just saying this because this was before psychedelics. And I'm gonna talk later how psychedelics flipped the switch in a way that I would have never realized that I had to flip the switch. But I had a still my girl at the time. I mean, still my girlfriend now. But once I ran into her, I had thought I had all this big headed knowledge in my head. I was like, oh yeah, I know this stuff. I was still always chilling around that time. But I was like, yo, after a while of us hanging out, about a year or two, I was like, yo, you gotta die. You gotta die. You gotta die. And I would like bring it up a lot. But it's and I would like bring up things. Like but the way I was going about it, I was ruining her reality. I can't regret it because something was just making me play that role around that time, and benefits always come out of things in the end. But at the time, it was most likely uncalled for, and it could have been done in a very, very different way. But I didn't understand a lot of things back then about how to really approach the idea of death. Like me, I was ready. I conquered it. But not everybody has different stories, and everybody has different configurations of it in this existence. So I was really pushing it. And what the only thing it did was make me more angry and made her depressed in ways that she would have never been before, or think about things in depressed ways that she would never before, without an alternative to being uplifted. Like, a lot of people out here will, including my past self, will show you your shadow side, will show you yourself, will literally become death. Like, I don't know, it's like death shows you who you are. That's why I became real comfortable and friends with death. So a couple Twilight Zone episodes out there that will really, really strengthen my point as well. Is this lady that was afraid to leave her house, and promise I'm still keep on track. That didn't want to leave her house, but this one guy, so she will always get things and crack open the door and like get her food and stuff. But this one guy was in her house and talking to her, and then eventually she was like, you gotta leave and stuff. And he was talking about she was always saying she afraid to die. She was saying, if I go outside, I'ma die. And she was so scared and stuff. And overall, in the end, I don't remember all the detail. He was able to get her to relax and stuff, and finally go open the door. I believe. And then in the end of the story, he found out that she was dead the whole time, and that was death talking to her the whole time about death, and about still living and being appreciative of life, and going out and opening at that door and really digging in her head about why she wouldn't, until she finally opened it and found she was dead the whole time. It's very trippy, but death was comforting in that scene. I'm gonna try to figure out exactly which one that is. But yeah, a lot of back to go. A lot of people like me in the past show you your shadow side, but don't offer you a solution. Well, a real alternative solution to actually getting you out of that mess. And what that does is create more little demons walking around, because we all devils on this earth. I believe, like, we are the fallen angels, so to speak. We are the Nephilim. We are the people that came down to this earth, and then we gotta like learn and do some things and really, really dig deep so that we can ascend back up to where we were, or we were trapped there, where we decided to come here. However, man, I don't. It's a lot of scenarios that I'll be just tying about that I just be thinking about. Remember, this is the PSy TAi podcast, the JUSt TAi pod, JUSt TAi, JUSt TAi, JUSt TAi. Just think about it. Wait, hold on one. Never mind, they cool. It's just the next room if y'all can hear it. Sometimes this mic is so sensible. But it caused a lot of anguish. And then I was after my psychedelic journey, I was able to have a offer an alternative because I seen the light for myself. Because a lot of people out here, they deal with death, and you hear them talk about death and stuff like that, especially in the metal and the rock scene and things like that. And even in the hip hop culture, if you dig deep enough and like really go into like the Pimp C, he had Skull with a screwdriver, and it said DJ Screw. I said Pimp C, DJ Screw and stuff. Like, these people really saw a lot of things, and taking these drinking lean, which is like liquid heroin. Like, they take it to these realms, and a lot of people, Bone Thugs and Harmony, they reveal a lot, but they don't really offer an alternative. And I mentioned music because that was big in my life. Music was big in my life on all rims. I grew up listening to all kinds of music. But after my psychedelic journey, I was able to offer an alternative, a light. I was offered a light after the dark tunnel. Like, after going through the dark night of the soul, I was now able to offer a light because I was able to experience the light for myself again. I felt like during my experience as though I was home, as if I went to what I always knew was there. I always had a clue. Like, I didn't go into this completely blind. I did a lot of research, a lot of meditation, and I was practicing stuff beforehand. So it seemed like the psychedelics kick-started me. And it really was like, it took out and showed me a lot of things because I was projecting a lot. And that's why I was able to do it so easily, because I was doing it so much. But with the neuroplasticity, that's why I love this picture as well. Like, look at this picture of the placebo and the LSD, and the difference in the regions of the brain that are actually lit up. And I have an article about neurogenesis. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. Neurogenesis in the hippocampus, or hippocampal, and the extension of trace fair conditioning. Drugs that, yeah, it goes kind of deep, but mostly I'm gonna put this in the description. This is like a real scientific, legit article. Hold on, I'm gonna go like this. Just blow up on you like that. But drugs that moderate serotonin 5-H2 synaptic concentrations impact neurogenesis and hippocampal dependent learning. Sorry, it's real small. The primary objective is to determine the extent to which psilocybin modulates neurogenesis and thereby affects acquisitions and extinction of HPC-dependent trace fair conditioning. PSOP. That's psilocybin. Scientific term. The 5-H2A antagonist 2,5-NB-MEO and the 5-HTA C antagonist cetirizine were administered via an acute intraperitoneal injection to mice. So they injected these mice with these 5-H2A antagonists, and what that does is attach to the 5-H2A receptors in your brain, which is the same receptors that control your dopamine and your serotonin levels. All plays into it. These molecules, I'm gonna get a picture of molecules soon, but the tryptamine molecules, they like LSD, DMT, and psilocybin, they're all derivative from tryptophan. And tryptophan is similar to serotonin and dopamine if you look at its chemical structures. I'm no scientist, but I am a scientist for real. Stop doubting myself. But you can look this all up for yourself. It's readily available, or send me an article if y'all really have something that y'all think I can bring out to the people that really get this out there real clearly. We all in this together. That's what the JUSt TAi podcast is about. Oh, wait, no, that's the back to the Michael Pollan. Hold on. All right. But they injected these mice with this to see what they would do. Trace fair conditioning was measured as the amount of time spent immobile in the presence of a conditioned stimulus. Auditory tone, trace, silent interval, and post-trace intervals over 10 trials. So they will usually play a tone that would irritate the mice or show something to the mice that will scare them. They'd be like, ah! Mice, they back up in the corner and stuff like that. So they administrated these 5-H2A antagonists, kerosene and psilocybin into the mice and then they ran these trials about 10 times and see how they responded to the sound then. Breaking it down. Extinction was determined by the number of trials required to resume mobility during CS. Trace and post-trace when the shock was not delivered. Oh, they were shocking them. Salute, man, to the mice. Neurogenesis was determined by unbiased counts of cells in the dentate gyres of the HPC birth date from blah 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 co-expressing a neural marker. Mice injected with low doses of PSOP extinguished cued fear conditioning significantly more rapidly than high dose PSOP or saline treated mice. So compared to the mice that were injected with salt or sugar or salt, I believe saline. Injection of PSOP 25I-NBMEO or ketoserine resulted in significant dose-dependent decreases in number of newborn neurons in hippocampus. So what they're saying right here is that neurogenesis is different than the neuroplasticity that I usually talk about, where pathways are reformed and that can change. You can see that in this 3D room as habits changing and being open to more ideas. But what they're seeing in these mice that were injected with this PSOP, this psilocybin, and these 5-H2 antagonists, and what they're seeing is that new cells literally start to form in the hippocampus. New cells. That's amazing. That is amazing. You're literally growing a bigger brain. So you're able to process more. And the part that is growing is a part that's reducing fear. So I see that as being able to think more positive on a daily, on a humbug, on an instant, simultaneously. And not having your first thought being one of such dismal dramaticism. I experienced this during one of my first LSD trips. I remember calling it second thought. And I remember saying like, yeah, I felt so positive, and it felt like whenever I tried to think in a way of negativity, I felt a pulse in a part of my head that I didn't want to feel, so I stopped thinking in that way, and then it went away. And I remember thinking it was like second thought, and I always get confused on what I meant by second thought. Like, do I mean the bad thought, the harming thought was the second thought, or is the good thought the second thought? But I think it was how I just put it. Teach his own. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. And remember, guys, this is as y'all can see by the wording, this is a legit article on PubMed.gov, U.S. National Library of Medicine, National Institute of Health. And I'm just reading the abstract. So shout outs to Catlow Song for that interesting name. Paradise, Christine and Sanchez. Yeah. For this information. And the Lieber Institute for Brain Development at Balter, MD, USA. Thanks. And this is what they're saying about neurogenesis, man. Paul Stamos was big on this. I'm glad he opened me up to this. At low doses of PSOP that enhance extinction, neurogenesis was not decreased, but rather tended towards an increase. Oh gosh. A fear don't judge me. A fear conditioning may be medicated by actions of the drugs at sites other than hippocampuses, such as the amygdala, which is known to mediate the perception of fear. Another caveat is that PSOP is not purely selective for 5-H2A receptors. I didn't know. Well, I instinctively knew that, but that's why you got to go by what you know and keep researching, because science is slowly catching up to what a lot of psychonauts believe. Put it like that. JUSt TAi. 5-SOP facilitates extinction of the classically conditioned fear response, and this and similar agents should be explored as potential treatments for post-traumatic stress disorder and related conditions such as depression, anxiety. We're going to talk about this all the time because it's happening all the time around me. I know it's happening all the time around you. So let's start the conversation. Let's just start the conversation. Hey man, thanks for tuning in to the PSy TAi podcast number 22. I'm very happy that you chose to be here and talk this PSy TAi talk. Talk this PSy TAi talk. I came up with the name. First it was I was like, it's a psychedelic podcast. And it's funny when I was hearing Adam from Psych Substance talk about this. So luckily I put this out before he started his. You can check the stats. I had this idea all summer. But it was the Psychedelic podcast, and then I said, like, I had Thai in it. And I was like, the Psychedelic podcast. And I was like, Psychedelic sounded long. So I just turned into the PSy TAi podcast. And now we can like say PSy TAi. Look out for some merch coming out soon. PSy TAi, PSy TAi, PSy TAi, PSy TAi. Oh, I'm just happy, man, because this all coming into fruition, manifestation. I always wanted to do this. Y'all see, I was rocking out with the 480p webcam. 480p. Now I'm at least in 720. Once I get the computer upgrade, I'll be able to stream this a lot better without any lag, so I can bump it up to 1080p. I'm loving this right now. I'm very much loving this. And I just hope that y'all share this message. And if y'all have used OBS Studio, man, help me out. Help Ty out. Help Naga out. Let me know how I can hear the music that y'all hearing while I'm recording. I might want to I might want to just start singing over the beat or something. I don't know. But I can't do that because I can't hear what y'all hear. So if y'all know what to do, leave me in the comments. If you have any articles, leave it in the comments. If you have any artwork that y'all want me to present, send it to my email. High quality pictures so I can upload it, man. Probably start some contests. I'm definitely going to be doing some giveaways. I thought I had the Simpsons in here. I don't have it right now. Alright, yeah, I don't have it right now. But I actually do have another article. I'm gonna skim through this. This is another lengthy one. And shout out if I should make it look like, leave in the comments if I should make it look like I'm looking down at it. Because else I have to look like this if I'm really like trying to play the bro. Like, yeah, but I'm not reading anything. Just looking into the air. Let's add another screen. We have a screen right there. That'll be hot. We can figure that out. Alright, safety and efficiency of lysergic acid dimethylide. Oh, I was right. I just put the acid. I said lysergic dimethylide acid. And I was like, that don't make sense, bro. Assisted psychotherapy for anxiety associated with life-threatening diseases. Okay, we're gonna go through this abstract. Cause we got some time. Since I'm recording, I don't gotta worry about the streaming messing up. A double-blind, randomized, active, placebo-controlled pilot study was conducted to examine safety and efficacy of lysergic acid dimethylide (LSD)-assisted psychotherapy in 12 patients with anxiety associated with life-threatening diseases. Treatment included drug-free psychotherapy sessions supplemented by 2 LSD-assisted psychotherapy sessions 2 to 3 weeks apart. The participants received either 200 micrograms of LSD or 20 micrograms of LSD with an open label crossover of 200 micrograms of LSD after the initial blinded treatment was unmasked. At the 2-month follow-up, positive trends were found via the state trait anxiety inventory, the TAI, in reduction in trait anxiety with an effective size of 1.1, and state anxiety was significantly reduced with an effective size of 1.2 with no acute or chronic adverse effects persistent beyond 1 day after treatment or treatment related serious adverse events. Alright. TAi reductions were situated for 12 months. These results indicated that when administered safely in a methodologically rigorous medically supervised psychotherapeutic setting, LSD can reduce anxiety, suggesting that larger controlled studies are warranted. Oh, that's and shout outs to these, got some MDs and PhDs. Shout outs to Peter, Dominic, Yvonne, Rick Dublin. Oh, I know Rick Dublin. Bara Kostini and Torsten. Torsten and Rodolph. And shout outs to y'all, man. Because like I said, we all got our own kind of voices that's going to reach out to different kinds of people. And the scientists are going to be the one that's going to be able to change these laws. And once the laws change, even for the psychonauts that don't care for some reason or another about science, if these scientists are able to get their hands on it, have these experiences for themselves and these therapists and everything, and make it legal, you won't have to be running around hiding what you do all day. You will be able to talk to your family members and have a real open conversation about it. You won't have to feel as though you gotta isolate yourself so much anymore. This is so powerful. This means so much. Because it means a lot personally to me. And I know to a lot of other people. Because it's a lot of us out there that are not able to talk about these things to certain old friends, or we are, but you just, you're able to talk about anything to anybody. I learned bravery overall, bravery and courage. It's just something about getting blank stares, like, yeah, so, Jesus, right? So, when the conversation doesn't go past that, when you're the only one talking, it feels like, I don't know, sometimes I be feeling like I'm the madman from the hill, coming down from the hills. But at least I'm not the town drunk. Everybody want to be the black sheep until they see what the black sheep really is. The black sheep to me is the one that's experiencing their shadow side, and they're dealing with it, and they're comfortable so much with it that they're allowing it to show in their skin. They're not trying to play the role of the white goody two-shoes sheep. They real. They like, this is who I really am. I'm still just like you. All right. And then you can go into this. And this one is from this article is from the NCBI, and it's the U.S. National Library of Medicine, the National Institute of Health. All right. And then let's see if they got some cool things that we can see, learn something. Yeah, that's what people be big on, the 5-HT2A receptors. That's deals with the psychosensory, what we see, the visual hallucinations. That's what they attribute to that. Seeing the objects forming and moving around. But what they're saying, let's read. LSD's effects on brain functionings are complex and not fully understood. LSD influences are diverse neurotransmitter systems, but its psychosensory effects are mainly mediated by activation of the 5-HT2A receptors with significant modulation by 5-HT2C and 5-HT1A receptors. No neuroimaging studies have been conducted with LSD, where neuroimaging studies with the LSD related substances psilocybin. Wait, what? Wait, how? Oh, this is way back. But if y'all see now, we actually have pictures of MRI brain scans of the actual psychedelic brain. All right, and dimethyltryptamine, DMT, have yielded inconclusive results, presumably because of methodology. Yep. All right. And he talking about the psychotherapy again. When it started in the 50s. And it's just the studies, if we really want to dive deep in how they found the people. They are found by media, flyers, presentations in hospital or cancer support groups or referrals from other physicians. So that's how y'all, if y'all want to get part of these studies, y'all gotta get in like that. Sometimes you go on Maps and they be having maps.com, which is the multidisciplinary, but studies for psychedelic science. And they really, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Sciences. That's what it is. I got it. And they usually have something going on that you can sign up for. But you mostly have to have a precondition already, like life-threatening illness such as cancer or PTSD. And was after complete description until... These are some charts. Charts that are too small for me to read right now. Alright, this they said. If we're gonna go deep into the study, this is how they was able. This is what they did. The psychotherapeutic method used in this study was a continuous process lasting several months. 2 preparatory psychotherapy sessions served to discuss the participants' history, social situation, personality, health, mindset, and emotional situations, also known by the term sets. These are also served to explain the action of LSD and structure of the set and answer questions and build therapeutic allegiance. the setting, the physical environment, which this is where they was at. They are advised to lay on a mattress on the floor comfortably. Other than going to the bathroom, the participants remained in the treatment room for the entire 8-hour sessions and overnight with an attendant nearby. Nice. Just talking about where they got they supply from. They plug was from Switzerland. A guy named Lipomed. Quality control. Randomizing and shape were bottled and yeah. Alright. Yeah, I'm talking about the nurses collected the heart rate and the blood, as you I know they would do. Throughout the study, adverse events were collected. The studies tampered off of these types of contaminant medication. What? Let's go past that. Y'all can read this too as I go down. I'm reading in my head, but I'm trying to look for, the results. Not really the clinical results. Not gonna blow our heads open that much right now. Most of us chilling. Oh, this is a lot of results. This is cool. In our study, using appropriate inclusion, exclusion criteria, detailed participants' preparation, and careful supervised experience in a supportive psychotherapeutic setting, psychological side effects were mild and limited. There were no AEs associated to LSD, such as prolonged anxiety, bad trip, or lasting psychotic or perceptual disorders, flashbacks, as they tried to say all the time in the past. Congruent with studies in the past, with few mild somatic effects of LSD, such as changes in heart rate and blood pressure, were of no clinical significance. Yeah, let's we're gonna read the conclusion, then we're gonna be done with this. Alright. Let's scroll on up. Conclusions. This pilot study in participants with anxiety associated with the diagnosis of a life-threatening illness has demonstrated safety in 22 psychotherapy sessions assisted by 200 UGs of LSD with no drug-related severe adverse events. Group comparisons results support positive trends in a reduction of anxiety after 2 sessions of LSD-assisted psychotherapy, with effect size estimates in the range of 1.1 to 1.2 in a view of promising historical studies with a adjunctive LSD treatment in this population, and a recent promising study using psilocybin, as well as the urgent need for more effective treatments of anxiety in these patients. Further studies warn into the potential assisted psychotherapy. Yes. Good stuff. So as y'all see, these plant medicines such as LSD, peyote, mescaline, psilocybin containing mushrooms, dimethyltryptamine, DMT, these are all not what we were. These are all not what we were told to believe, and there's a lot of lies out here that are uncovered for me in the world once these plant medicines are ingested. Like, I believe fully that the people that create the term tree huggers and we gotta save the rainforest and all of these things, I believe they had these experiences in the 60s, man. And anybody that you see like having these ideas that's challenging society, It's because of these experiences. Not just because, but because somebody had some kind of wacky experience that shook them out of their skin. But hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the PSy TAi podcast. I'm trying to see if it's something that I had to show y'all, and I think it is. I believe it is so. Alright, I'm gonna find it real fast. I'm gonna be so quick on this that you won't believe it. Hold on 1 second. I have a video. Come on, let's go. Let's do this. So I think I played that in the last video, and then I think about it. But since I said I was gonna play something, I don't want to disappoint. So I'm gonna play this if it comes up for us. Yeah. That was so random. Alright, but that's enough of that. Alright, but guys, stay flowing. Stay open to new ideas and try to keep this conversation open. Please make sure that you share this page. Share this page on Instagram. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. Share it anywhere just so we can get this on really important as it is. But I just want everybody to really be satisfied with themselves. Somebody gotta break it up. And if you need me to talk, if you just need to say, here, just listen to this guy talk, this average Joe talk, just listen, just play it, cause that's how I started out. That's what I did, playing a lot of Infinite Waters. Other people say, yo, listen to this guy, just like saying what I'm feeling, but he's putting it into words. I don't know. Allow me to help you out, and help me out as well. Send me some articles, send me any comments, any way I can improve this show, or any way, and what you feeling. Just tell me what you feeling at the moment. Cause we out here. It's the PSy TAi podcast. This is Captain Naga asking you, we all tie? Or do we really tie? Sometimes I don't know, dude. Sometimes I don't know. Until next time, it's Captain Naga.